Hello, my name is Carlita, and I'm a British hypnotherapist, mindset coach, and grief counselor, among many other things, as well as being a podcaster, an ecologist. I write about ecology and consciousness and how our disconnection from nature has also led to a rise in depression. So today I just want to talk a little bit about a new workbook that I'm launching, and I believe it will really benefit people who feel like they are stuck in a mental quagmire. And I will talk a bit more about that in a moment. But recently, it's been very big news that University College of London scientists have shown that brain chemistry is not the sole reason that people suffer with depression. UCL researchers recently published that there's no strong evidence between low serotonin levels to cause depression, which is quite alarming since hundreds of thousands of people are on antidepressants, and millions more have been dangerously suicidal, according to WHO studies. But anyway, the clear fact is that serotonin levels are not the main factor or cause of depression. And generally, it's acknowledged that depression is a multifaceted umbrella term, which covers society and environmental factors, and definitely nutrition is a huge factor in this, which I've written about in my previous book as well, relating to depression. So I will be sharing more about nutrition in the future and how that affects depression from my own experience as somebody who had gluten intolerance for many years when I was much younger. I know for a fact that that has been a big trigger, in addition to chronic inflammation, because if you eat a lot of wheat and bread and you feel like you have brain fog, no energy, and you feel like you have chronic inflammation, arthritis, and you're very young, it's probably due to your diet and some problems being able to digest gluten, which also relates to some of the chemicals that they put on pesticides and crops. Glyphosate has caused a rise in gluten allergy. Anyways, so that is one factor. But going back to the recent discovery regarding UCL, we now know that it's not just down to brain chemistry. And I've put a lot of work over the last few years into this topic and exploring different factors involved in what could be adding to the causes for many different people. It's different things. Anyway, I just wanted to share with you my journey over the last 4 years, because I really struggled with seriously severe grief 4 years ago when I lost my soulmate, my husband, in very tragic circumstances. And I really had a struggle, really struggled with raw grief, because I didn't have any friends or family around me. I was in a brand new country at the time. And, you know, I know what it's like to be stuck in this kind of pain lens or bubble. And after a few years, it's still really hard for a lot of people to overcome that. If you've lost a spouse or any other immediate family that you're close to, that you live with, that's part of your life, very difficult. So I created what's called a morning mindset motivation workbook for other people who feel like they're in a funk and they want to debug their negative mindset, debug your mind, and move to something completely different. Now, just implementing that, just taking the step to implement a new positive mindset, new daily habits, is very difficult, because you say, yes, I'll do it, mañana, mañana. And when it comes to it, most people honestly don't fully commit to it. So this is why I created the Morning Mindset Motivation Workbook. It's to help people with that transition period to go from your negative habits to creating new positive ones. And you start by doing this with your Morning Mindset Motivation workbook. So when we're recovering from grief, trauma, and pain, it feels like it's been a long time that we're carrying this burden with us. And every morning we wake up, we feel like we've woken up into a nightmare from a nightmare. And you feel stuck, like a vehicle sinking in a boggy quagmire that you've got stuck in. And our minds immediately fill up with those horrible events that come flooding back to us. The pain, the struggles, humiliation, financial difficulties. We have had to deal with those, and we sigh and just think about those other things that just cannot stop our minds unraveling. And we know we have to get up and start the day, but we can't get out of bed. We don't want to face the world. Although we have all these commitments with work, things to do, people we need to show up for. And it's tough. If we put our feet on the ground and we stand up when we don't want to face the day. And I know for a lot of people, especially after the last 2 years, it's your life at the moment. You've probably had a recent bereavement. You've probably had a lot of loss and struggle financially, emotionally, and so on through the last few years. So it's best to try and make these changes as early on as possible, but it takes time, especially with bereavement. So if you're somebody that's still feeling like they're unable to get out of a bad habit, and it's 3 years on, and you're dragging this dark cloud around, and you're trying different things, but you still can't get over that first initial step of putting into practice what you really want to do. So I created this new structure, and it's in a way to get you into a new routine, making healthy habits rather than continue the negative broken record of your mindset. And as I already have a background in hypnotherapy and other kinds of alternative healing modalities, I was able to practice on myself doing this along with my own hypnotherapy programmings and dynamic mind exercises for implementing positive mindset. And one of the most interesting things that circled my mind is that I am not my own story. And a lot of people, they really heavily identify with their past, their past pain, their loss. They carry it around with them as if it's their identity. But this is something you need to let go of, because it's not serving you. And all it's doing is it's feeding that negative mindset, broken scratch record, which is drowning out the music that you really want to open up to, that is here for you now. being in the now. And the other point to consider is that we're constantly renewing our bodily cells, our brain cells, our blood cells. The air we breathe is helping us renew our cells every second, every minute of the day. And we're every second of every minute of the day, we are a different version of who we were just a minute ago, let alone a year ago. We had an entirely different number of cells in our organs and brains. And it's only our mind that is hung on to these old illusions of what we are, our story, and of who we believe ourselves to be. And generally, the other thing is that what we see as ourselves is very different to the versions of images of who we are according to other people. So everyone has a different idea of who you are. You have an idea of who you are, but usually it's not the truth. And none of us really know who we truly are. But to get a clearer focal point on who you really are, and to allow the music of who you really are to come out, we need to get rid of that old program. So that's what my gift of this workbook is to you, the Morning Mindset Motivation Workbook. And it has a great number of exercises in there to help you start doing that, so that you can be free of that pain and start to create a beautiful new chapter in your life. Be free of the burdens that you've been stuck in and that you're ready to get out of now, so that you can smash that old scratch broken record that's got stuck and it's just making a lot of noise in your head and stopping you from being able to focus on implementing new positive changes in your life, and stopping you from hearing the true music in your heart and soul. And let's just say goodbye to Groundhog Day, right? So a wise man once said that if we ask God, the divine source, our higher self, or whatever you believe in, to show us the way out of our self-made prison, to pay attention to the gifts of life. So ask God, your higher self, or whatever you believe in, the night before you go to sleep, and again in the morning when you wake up, and ignore the flooding back of the past. Stay in the now and meditate and pray with these words. Please, God, let me pay attention to you, not me, not to me. Please let me be aware of what I want to be aware of, and not the old negative broken record or the story that I've carried around and I've believed that I was before. You see the power in that? So at least start there. That's a very good point to start, and beautiful things will start to open up to you. You might see little universal sync winks opening up in your life, and that is amazing. And this is a part of the gift of this workbook, and what makes it so special and positive, because I'm trying to show you that you can do this, and miracles can happen, new chapters of your life can happen. And it's not always easy to get started with something new, because we make mistakes, we go into remission, and we just give up because we've already been so battered by life. And really, everything is attainable to you if you just make yourself accountable and stick to it and do the work. There are lots of rewards to be had on the other side, including new, happier chapters and adventures. So the following steps in my new morning routine will help you implement your new positive habits And you will really feel like this is the beginning of a new chapter in your life. So I'm just going to quickly share the book look that I'm offering out to people. This is, by the way, I'm giving this away. There's a lot of value in this. It's worth a lot of money and assets in terms of what has gone into it. So this is the Morning Mindset Motivation Workbook, created by Colita Shaw. Be the Change Hypnotherapy Coaching. Be the change by creating a new vision and writing a new story of the life you want to see in the world. Recommended for people who want to renovate their minds and lives, debug your mind and your life. So yeah, this is the introduction here, talking about what I was just explaining with you. And here's some tips and advice, daily success habits, and what you want to implement, some examples, and daily success, what you want to aim for, what's benefited you, what you want to implement next and change. We have a vision board here, which we start with using images to create the life that you want to see and the changes you want to see in your life. And you will be writing about your successful future self as well. These are great fun exercises that you can do to rewrite the story of your future self. Write your story. So instead of relaying your old negative story that isn't serving you any longer and that's keeping you held down, you rewrite a future story of yourself. And these are all hypnotherapy techniques. So take action, and you'll see lots of juicy exercises in there, and mantras and weekly reviews and positive affirmations and inspirational quotes here. So yeah, this is my gift to you guys. Anybody that has had a difficult time, and it finishes with a quote of mine: in the light of transformation, all pain comes from the fertilizer that nourishes the soul for the flower of your heart and mind to bloom. And, you know, I'm a walking testimony to this. If you learn a little bit about my story and me and what I've been through, on my website, bethechangehypnotherapy.coach, you'll find a number of posts about what I've been through with my past and health and so on, and then my healing modalities background and so on. So I invite you to download this free workbook. I really can't put a value on this, it's priceless, but if you want any kind of value, I would say $25 to start off with is good. But it's worth so much more in rescuing people from their own quagmire that we all need to get out of. You know, we live in such a negative world where we're bombarded by negativity every day. And, you know, then we give it to ourselves every morning that we wake up, and morning is the best time to kind of nip it in the bud and start eliminating these negative thought forms and implementing positive ones, so that you can use that as a foundation to start building the rest of your life. And I know this is going to help a lot of people. So I will be launching this in the next week. You'll be able to just send your email and I can send it to you for free. And you will also have access to me on a free 30-minute call afterwards, or whenever you're ready to discuss your own challenges. So enjoy. This is my gift to you, and I am absolutely positive you will benefit from this if you follow the advice and just take action. Thank you.